Today I ducked up by combining magnets with my urethra, NSFW. I'm the luckiest dumbass ever to live. So I had the weekend at home to myself. My flatmate had gone away, a little me time was scheduled. Now, I like to experiment. I'd heard about sticking things into the urethra, and thought I'd give it a go. Initial experiments were unsuccessful. Chopsticks were a little large for my virgin pee hole. No big deal. I'm sure I can find something else. Now, a little history. Do you know what buckyballs are? They are a type of office toy, really popular a couple of years back. They are small spherical strong magnets. Pretty neat. They can be combined into all sorts of cool shapes. Also, they form into a lovely string. Can you see where this is going? Well, wouldn't you know it, a string of buckyballs slides up the urethra just perfectly. Like it was made for it. It's a beautiful thing. I pass away a happy afternoon plumbing the depths. These things can go a long way. And the further they go, believe me, the better it feels. Readers who have owned buckyballs. Do you see my error? Do you see how this delicate chain of balls, so exquisitely suited to its purpose, holds my doom? So, evening rolls around. I decide on one last plunge. This cop is a day from retirement. This space miner has discovered a nest of funny looking eggs. This hitchhiker is rolling up to the Bates Motel. And this is one last plunge. In they go. 10, 20, 30 beads. More. 40, 50. I don't count. I don't care. It feels good. I feel at this point I must explain a little more about buckyballs. I have described them as a chain. This is not so. Each ball is separate, only held to the next by its magnetism. And what do magnets love to do? They love to stick together. Remember this. I did not. My last plunge, my final dive continues. Soon, better than half a meter of magnets is inside me. I'm through the prostate, through the sphincter, in the bladder. I push on. I hit the top of the bladder. I'm possessed. I push on. The buckyballs, the magnets, start to bend and curve back towards themselves. Still, I push on. Click. I hear a sound from deep within me. The sound of two magnets meeting and mating. Suddenly my beautiful chain of balls is a tangled magnetized lump in my bladder. This is the worst possible thing. But now I have lengthened my tail over long. Panic stations were activated. Rationality and sobriety returned. And I started to pull. Gently, oh so gently I pulled. This thin chain of balls was still held together only by magnetism and hope. And now there was resistance. At any moment the chain could break, would break, was certain to break. And if it did, there would be no hope. Nothing short of surgery would remove them. Still the chain held. All the way down, right down to the penis. Did you know, the smallest diameter part of the whole system is the end of the penis? I do. Oh, I do. It's stuck. A magnetic lump of steel, a centimeter wide, stuck an inch from freedom. Locked behind my penile gates. The chain broke. Many times, the chain broke. But the blockage was so close to the end that, with care, it could be reattached. Only to break again. Of note here is the pinching. I hope you do not know the pain of a thin layer of penile skin being pinched repeatedly between two powerful magnets. There was blood. Even now it throbs. The end, however, was in sight. The magnet clump was out of the danger zone, the operation zone. It was in my penis. I could control it. I could win. And, with the help of a knife and a ballpoint pen lid, I did. TLDR, I'm not sure I'd advise sticking 74 magnets up your dick. Today I ducked up update by combining magnets with my urethra, NSFW. Greetings once again, all ye dwellers of TIFU. My last thread caused some considerable comment. Many of the comments were along the lines of old man, you really ought to get a doctor to look at your area. This, combined with a certain odd sensation in my bladder, made me concerned enough to consider it. My main worry was that there were balls left inside me, and without an x-ray I would never truly know. So, last Friday, I went. I made an appointment at the gum clinic. Gum, genitourinary medicine. Clinics are excellent for those, like me, who perhaps do not want too much documented in their permanent medical notes. They are, much like here, anonymous. Arrive, I fill in a form. Surprisingly enough, none of the questions were enormously relevant to my case, and then I go to speak to the nurse. At this point I was concerned that I won't just freeze up and not be able to string together anything remotely coherent. Oddly enough, though, it turns out that, again, much like here, semi-anonymity removed all barriers of shame. I was eloquent. I was articulate. She was confused. She went and got the doctor. She was confused. This was new to her. But she was as old as God and pretty hardus, so she also mocked me appropriately, evidently something above the pay grade of the nurse. I had it coming. I didn't mind. She examined me. It was extraordinarily non-sexual, and, slightly fumbling for ideas, tried using the demonstration buckyballs I had brought along to detect any magnetism from the outside. This worked exactly as well as you might expect. The next step was an X-ray of my gonads. Poor little fellows hadn't yet been through enough abuse, it seems, and a dose of gamma rays was their next challenge. Thing with X-rays is, they don't normally do them for STDs. So I was sent up to X-ray with a brown paper envelope with a letter inside, which I did not look at, but which presumably read this guy. I was taken aside, ushered past the queue of old creaky people, and set up. The poor lady couldn't say penis, which caused some trouble when I had to arrange myself for the scan. We finally got things sorted. It's important not to have overlapping layers, you know. Anyway, the part you all came here for. The X-ray was negative. I have no buckyballs inside me, thank all the deities. An operation would have been the only way to remove them if there had been any stragglers. I hadn't realized how nervous I was until the good news was relayed to me by old frowny piss-tacky doctor lady. I punched the air. I may even have vocalized some sort of "oh yeah." She was unmoved. She told me not to do it again. Listen to frowny old doctor ladies. TLDR, surprised old lady, got lucky. Today I ducked up, didn't listen to the doctor and forced. So, this happened 2 weeks ago, but I'm only getting out of the hospital yesterday. Here goes, with a throwaway cause you'll see. Here I am, day 6, the pipes are clogged, not even gas is able to escape this. Doctor, on day 5, said to take some laxatives, no effect, the urge is great, the pressure is extreme, and the pain, my god the pain. But he said, whatever you do, let it come naturally, and don't force, you don't want to hurt yourself. He also said go to the if nothing after morning attempt. So here I am, morning after taking a ton of laxatives the doc gave me the day before. Still nothing, except the laxatives. Overnight made things way worse. I swear to god my stomach was twice its size, and I felt like it was going to explode. So I'm sitting on the can, approaching hour 3. I felt a bit of movement, and decided to push, and lo and behold, after 15 minutes of pushing, I get this huge relief. I finally had a crap. Then came the spine-chilling feeling. My innards felt like ice. My spine went numb. My legs go numb. Thinking I was just sitting there too long, I go to wipe, and I hit something. I stand up a bit, to see something dangling from me. It was my colon. I forced my asshole right out of my body. Freaked out by having a 1.5 foot piece of asshole hanging out of me, I called an ambulance, and off to the hospital I went. I was in the hospital from New Year's Eve until yesterday night. On New Year's Day I seen my doctor who told me not to force. I told him what happened, and he said, that's why I didn't want you to force. You have a chance on big blockages like that to detach parts of your intestines, and it can come out with a poo. Well shut. So here I am, 3 operations later, sitting on a donut for the next 6 to 8 weeks, shutting in a bag for the next 3. All because I forced, when I shouldn't have. Today I learned, don't force out a crap. When you are extremely constipated, you might shut out your own ass. TLDR, I shut out my own asshole. Today I ducked up, by taking advice from this sub to jack off, and cutting my duck. Okay, so this actually was today, and this isn't a throwaway. First time making a TIFU. I'm on my way home from the right now. Anyways, now onto the story. A couple weeks ago I read about some dude jacking off by squatting and hyperventilating, and as he was about to ejaculate jump up and hold your breath. In my mind I'm thinking, what a fucking dumbass, who would ever do that? But today has been a very boring day, okay? And at around 9:30 I get a boner in my mind, changes about certain things. So it's the big time now. My name don't ask. I clear my atrociously messy floor and I get my ahem video ready and I start jacking off. I squat down and start hyperventilating. Then the nut comes and I jump higher than ever before. My room ceiling is around 8 feet high and I'm 5 feet 9 inches, so my head hits the ceiling mid-nut while holding my breath. I'm going to sidetrack for just a second. That shit was so ducking good. Not ducking joking despite what I'm about to say. I fully recommend you do this at least once. So my head hits the ceiling and don't make a goddamn sound because it felt so good. I remember coming down and my room is small, so I came down forward accidentally and my duck slashed against the glass edge of my console holder. Because I'm losing so much blood, the next couple of minutes are hazy. I only remember my mom screaming and my 5-year-old brother crying. Now back to the vivid part. I become more conscious and see my TV on my body covering my duck. I'm told it fell on me. As I pull that off I finally notice A, my mom and brother, leading me to put a towel on my duck, and B, my duck, blood surrounding it. I quickly get clothes on and my mom rushes me to the Again, kind of a blur what exactly happened. But I remember the doctor talking about a tear in my scrotum, and that it almost my left testicle, which had already been slightly damaged. Long story from a while back. Thank God. So they get me some butterflies and patch it back up. The nurse asked me what I did for this to happen, and I said I wasn't being aware of my surroundings. We finally go home. BTW, we got home about 15 minutes ago, and my mom did not talk to me at all in the drive home, and I don't blame her. I now have to keep my testicle from extremely hot or cold temperatures for 3 days. I'm gonna rethink my life. TLDR, I took advice from this sub on how to jack off, and ended up tearing my scrotum. Had to get it patched. My mom is horrified. If asked, I'll keep updated. Edit, the trip in itself wasn't a big deal. Scrotum tears are not a huge deal, as long as you don't get too far or tear a testicle. I just got it patched up with medical glue and butterflies.